Have you ever wondered why your own mind feels like the enemy? Why? No matter how much you try to move forward, there's a voice that keeps pulling you back. It's quiet, but it's always there. It tells you you're not enough. It makes you question your worth. It whispers that other people are built differently, that strength belongs to them, not you. And every time you listen, it grows stronger. Every time you hesitate, it wins. That voice isn't truth. It's the ghost of who you used to be. And it's terrified of what you could become. You felt it before. Those mornings when you wake up heavy, when motivation feels fake and every thought is a weight pressing against your chest. The world feels distant, like you're watching your life through glass. You tell yourself it's temporary, but deep down you wonder if this is just who you are now. You smile for others, but inside it's chaos. The voice keeps talking. You try to drown it out, but silence only makes it louder. It doesn't shout, it seeps in. It convinces you that comfort is safety, that trying again will only hurt more. And so you shrink. But what if I told you that voice isn't trying to destroy you? It's trying to protect you. It was born from every failure, every rejection, every moment you broke and didn't think you'd heal. It remembers the pain, and now it fights to keep you small because small feels safe. That's how negative thinking works. It disguises itself as caution. It pretends to care. It promises to keep you from falling, even if it means never letting you fly. You've been living under that illusion for too long. You've built walls to protect yourself, but those walls became your prison. And the hardest part? You built them so well, you forgot how to open the door. But the truth is simple and brutal. You built the voice, which means you can unbuild it. The mind that created the cage can also craft the key. And that's where the power begins. The first step is awareness. You can't kill what you refuse to face. You must catch the thought as it appears, sharp, subtle, poisonous, and strip it of its disguise. Ask it, is this true or is this fear? That question alone weakens it. It shifts control back to you, because every negative thought is a choice wearing a mask. The more you expose it, the less control it has. This is how power begins, not in explosions, but in quiet decisions repeated daily. Your mind learns from repetition. It believes what you tell it most often. You've spent years rehearsing pain, playing memories like broken records. It's time to change the track. Replace I can't with I will. Replace I failed with I learned. The words might feel fake at first, but so did your doubts once. Every belief you hold now started as a single thought you repeated until it became real. You can train your brain to believe in limits, or you can train it to believe in possibility. Both are choices, both require energy, but only one will set you free. Understand this. The voice in your head is not the truth. It's a habit, and habits can be broken. You break them with awareness, discipline, and time. Every time you stop feeding a negative thought, it weakens. Every time you choose gratitude instead of resentment, focus instead of fear, the poison loses its taste. You're not silencing the voice, you're starving it. Eventually it fades, and something new rises in its place. That new voice doesn't beg for permission. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It doesn't care what happened yesterday. It speaks in action, not fear. It doesn't need to shout because it knows the truth. You've always had control. The unbreakable mind isn't built in a single moment. It's built in the moments you refuse to give in the seconds between giving up and trying again, in the silence where the old voice dies and the new one begins to speak. So when that voice tries to whisper again, don't fight it, listen, then answer. Say, I hear you, but you don't command me anymore, and then move. Because every step forward, no matter how small, kills a piece of the old you. The war isn't out there. It's in here. And you're already winning it by choosing to listen, to rise, to begin. This is your turning point, the moment the noise fades and the real you, the one that never stopped trying, finally takes control. You've already felt it, the shift, that quiet click inside when you realize the voice in your head isn't the law, it's just noise. But awareness is only the beginning. Now comes the battle. Because the mind doesn't surrender easily. It will test you. It will drag you back to old stories, whisper that you're slipping, that you'll never change. That's the trap, because if it can't control your actions, it will try to control your belief. And belief is everything. What you believe determines what you attempt, and what you attempt shapes who you become. So if the mind can convince you to stop trying, it wins before the fight even begins. You have to decide that no thought gets to dictate your life unless you allow it. Every doubt that enters your mind is a test, a chance to reclaim authority over yourself. The mind loves comfort. It loves familiarity. It hates risk, uncertainty, and growth. But everything you want exists beyond that comfort zone your fear built around you. Every dream, every breakthrough, every version of you that's free is waiting outside the walls of safety. The walls your mind keeps reinforcing with lies about timing, readiness, and perfection. You've got to break them, not later. Now, because hesitation is where courage dies. The truth is, your thoughts are not your identity. They're just impulses shaped by repetition. You've rehearsed weakness long enough. It's time to rehearse power. Every time you catch yourself saying, I can't, you're practicing surrender. Every time you push through that thought, even for a second, you're practicing dominance. That's how strong minds are built, not by never feeling fear or doubt, but by mastering the art of moving forward anyway. Confidence is not a gift, it's a consequence of action repeated until belief becomes automatic. You can't wait for motivation to strike. You can't wait for clarity or the perfect plan. You move, and then the clarity comes. You act, and then the confidence grows. Action first, emotion second. The mind follows momentum. Once you start, something changes inside. The fog begins to clear, and the voice that said you can't starts to lose its tone. That's the power of progress. Its silence is what fear tries to amplify. And when the pain comes, don't flinch. That's the sign you're on the right track. The pain of growth is not punishment, it's proof. Every discomfort means your old limits are cracking. Most people turn back right there just before the breakthrough because pain feels final. But it's not final, it's feedback. It's your old self begging you to stop evolving. You can't listen. You push through, you prove to yourself that pain doesn't control you. And when you do, something new awakens, a stillness, a power that doesn't depend on circumstance. This is where strength is born. In those moments where no one's watching, when your mind tells you it's pointless and you keep going anyway, that's when you begin to see yourself differently. Stop chasing approval. Stop waiting for validation. You stop needing the world to clap for you because you've seen what happens when you show up for yourself. You've built evidence, and that evidence becomes belief. Belief is the seed of every revolution. Once you believe you can change, you start to. Once you believe you're worthy, you begin to act like it. Once you believe your thoughts don't define you, you start to create new ones that do. That's the real transformation. Not pretending to be positive, but learning to command your mind with precision, to choose thoughts that serve you, not ones that sabotage you. And as that power grows, something else happens. You stop reacting. You stop letting the world dictate how you feel. You become steady, focused, calm in chaos. Because you've realized the truth, control doesn't come from controlling the world, it comes from mastering yourself. The mind that once tore you down becomes the tool that builds you up. You've learned how to use it. And when you can control your thoughts, there's nothing left to fear. You're no longer the person who listens to the voice of doubt. You're the one who commands it into silence. You don't just survive your thoughts. You shape them, bend them, forge them into power. Every negative belief that once controlled you becomes fuel. Every limitation turns into leverage. You stop being the prisoner and you become the architect. That's what it means to have an unbreakable mindset. It's not about never feeling weak. It's about knowing that even in weakness, you can choose strength. That's the difference between those who stay trapped in their minds and those who rise above them. The war inside you isn't endless. It ends the moment you decide to win. This is the moment where you stop negotiating with your limits. You've spent years explaining why things didn't work out, convincing yourself that timing, luck, or circumstance were to blame. But deep down, you know the truth. It wasn't the world that held you back. It was hesitation. The endless waiting for the perfect chance, the right feeling, the ideal start. That illusion has stolen enough from you. The clock doesn't pause for fear. Every second you wait, the life you could have lived slips further away. The harsh truth is simple. No one is coming to save you. No opportunity will appear out of thin air. The only rescue that exists is the one you create with your own hands. This is where the shift happens. Not in grand moments, but in quiet rebellion, when you refuse to let another day end without movement. The first step might feel small, almost meaningless, but that's the secret. Small steps destroy massive fears. Momentum kills doubt. Every action you take, no matter how uncertain, is a declaration of power. And the more you act, the louder that declaration becomes. Soon the world can't ignore it. Soon you can't ignore it. You've already proven you can survive pain. You've endured heartbreak, disappointment, failure. You've carried more than you ever thought you could and still kept breathing. That means you're dangerous. Because once you realize survival is your default, you stop fearing failure. And when you stop fearing failure, nothing can control you. The moment you accept that pain is not the end but the process, you become unstoppable. Growth is brutal, but so is regret. Choose your pain wisely. Every powerful mind in history was forged through resistance. They weren't gifted clarity, they built it through chaos. They faced storms and learned to stand taller inside them. You are no different. The pressure you feel right now isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's life testing your ability to hold the weight of what you're asking for. You want strength? It will break you first. You want purpose? It will strip you of comfort. Everything great comes at the cost of who you were before. You can't step into your new life while clinging to the old one. Something has to die for something greater to live. This is your breaking point. But breaking isn't the end. It's the beginning. The old patterns that ruled you are cracking. The excuses that once sounded reasonable now feel heavy. You're outgrowing your own limitations, and it hurts because evolution always does. But pain with direction is power. Every tear, every failure, every silent night where you wonder if you'll ever make it, it's all shaping you into someone unrecognizable to your past self. That's what transformation looks like. It's not clean, it's not calm, it's war. But it's a war you were born to win. Stop waiting for motivation to strike. Motivation fades. Discipline remains. You don't need to feel ready, you need to move anyway. The mind that waits for permission will never know freedom. The moment you act despite fear, you rewrite your identity. You stop being someone who tries and become someone who does. You stop being a dreamer and start being a force. And once you become a force, life bends. It responds. The same world that once ignored you begins to shift in your direction because energy follows certainty. Every time you rise, even a little, your subconscious takes notes. It starts to believe you again. It remembers what power feels like. That belief becomes armor. Soon, failure won't scare you. Judgment won't silence you. Fear won't slow you. Because you'll know the truth. Nothing outside you has ever had control. It was always about the war within. The war between the voice that says stay small and the one that whispers you're not done yet. Abraham, and you're not done, not even close. The fire that's been buried under doubt is waking up, and it's hungry for change, for progress, for something real. You don't need anyone to hand it to you. You've had it all along. The world doesn't need another person wishing. It needs someone willing, someone who decides that enough is enough, that fear doesn't deserve to lead anymore. That's you. You are not here to survive the storm. You are here to become it. So move, rise, act. Because the life you want isn't waiting. It's demanding you meet it halfway. You felt the fire before, that brief spark when something inside you refuses to give up. But then life hits harder. The noise gets louder. Doubt creeps back in, pretending to be logic, whispering that maybe it's too late. That's the lie that kills most dreams. Not failure, not rejection, but hesitation. The mind will always offer you a way out, a reason to wait, a comfortable excuse disguised as reason. And every time you take it, you teach yourself to settle. Every time you say later, you bury your potential a little deeper. The future you keep imagining isn't waiting, it's fading. You either claim it or watch it disappear. There comes a moment when you must decide that your old life no longer fits, that your comfort zone is a coffin. You've tasted what staying small feels like. It's safe, predictable, but suffocating. And if you're honest, that's not what you want. You want to feel alive again. You want to wake up with fire in your chest, not the weight of regret pressing on your ribs. You want to be proud of who you see in the mirror. But pride doesn't come from wishing. It comes from earning. You don't get to skip the pain. You have to outgrow it. You have to choose growth over safety every single day until it's not a choice anymore. It's who you are. You were never meant to live quietly. You were meant to shake the ground you walk on. But the world has a way of convincing you to dim your light, to be reasonable, to fit in. That's how mediocrity wins. It doesn't crush you, it comforts you. It makes you think settling is strength, but there's nothing strong about playing small. Real strength is standing alone in the unknown, trembling but unbroken and saying, I'm not done yet. That's power. That's purpose. Every struggle you faced wasn't there to destroy you. It was there to prepare you. The rejection, the heartbreak, the failures, they weren't detours. They were direction. Life isn't punishing you. It's training you. It's molding you into someone who can handle the weight of the life you're asking for. Because what you want will test you. Success demands resilience. Freedom demands discipline. Peace demands confrontation. You can't have power without pressure. You can't build an unbreakable mind without first being broken. So stop fearing the struggle. Use it. Let it sharpen you. Let it strip away everything weak, everything fake, everything temporary. Every moment you choose not to quit, you're rewriting your destiny. Every time you fall and get back up, your mind learns a new truth. That pain can't own you. The moment you stop running from difficulty and start chasing it, everything changes. Because now, you're not reacting to life, you're leading it. You're not surviving anymore, you're commanding. You have no idea how powerful you are when you stop doubting it. The same mind that once built walls can build empires. The same voice that said you're not enough can become the one that says, watch me. You've been fighting battles in silence, and it's time to realize you're still here. That means you've already won more wars than you've lost. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You need conviction. The moment you decide that your vision is non-negotiable, the world starts to move around your will. And it will resist at first. Everything will. The people who doubt you, the habits that held you, the fears that fed you, they'll all push back. But that resistance isn't proof that you're failing. It's proof that you're rising. The storm doesn't come to destroy the warrior, it comes to reveal them. And when it hits, you won't run. You'll walk straight through it because you'll know that nothing can stop what you've already decided. This is where you become dangerous. Not because you're fearless, but because fear no longer controls you. You've learned how to walk through it, how to use it, how to turn it into motion. That's when everything changes. The world bends to those who refuse to break. And that's what you are now. Unbreakable. Not because you never fall, but because you always rise. Because every time the voice in your head says stop, you whisper back, try me. Because deep down you know this truth. The old you is gone, and the new you doesn't need saving. The new you is the storm. The storm doesn't end. It transforms you. Every hit, every scar, every sleepless night becomes evidence of your evolution. You stop fearing what could go wrong because you've already seen the worst and survived it. The world no longer feels like an obstacle. It feels like a test of endurance, and you're built for it. You start to understand that pain isn't a punishment. It's an invitation to rise higher than you ever have before. The fire that once burned you now burns within you. It no longer destroys, it forges. You've become something that can't be shaken, something that doesn't fold when life gets cruel. That's the mark of the unbreakable mind. But the battle isn't over. The mind is clever. It adapts. Once it realizes fear can't stop you, it tries something new. It whispers that you're tired, that maybe you've done enough, that rest equals surrender. It tells you to slow down, to take it easy, to coast. But you know better. Coasting is how the mind reclaims control. It feeds on your comfort until your fire dims again. Don't let it. Growth doesn't ask if you're ready. It demands you rise regardless of how you feel. Comfort is not peace, it's paralysis. And the second you start mistaking one for the other, you fall back into the very trap you escaped. You have to stay hungry, not desperate, not restless, hungry. Hungry for truth, for purpose, for mastery. The moment you stop craving growth, you start decaying. Every goal you reach is not a finish line, it's a new beginning. The stronger you become, the more responsibility you carry. That's the price of power. The world will test you harder, the pressure will grow heavier, and the doubts will return sharper. But that's how you know you're on the right path. Weakness doesn't chase the stagnant, it hunts the strong. It comes for those who dare to evolve. So when it shows up, smile. You're being sculpted. You're being shaped into someone capable of more than you can currently imagine. The pressure that surrounds you is not there to crush you. It's there to reveal what you're truly made of. Diamonds don't form in comfort. They're born under fire. You're no different. You are becoming something rare, something resilient, something untouchable, but only if you keep going when every instinct says stop. The truth is, most people never make it this far. They talk about change, but quit when it costs them ease. They want the victory without the sacrifice. They want transformation without tension. But that's not how greatness works. You can't wish your way into strength. You must fight your way into it, and the fight never ends. The reward isn't the goal itself. It's who you become chasing it. It's the version of you that emerges when you refuse to back down. That version is the real victory. That version can walk through fire and not flinch. You are closer than you think. Every setback you've faced has been shaping your foundation. Every failure has been refining your focus. Nothing was wasted. You didn't lose time. You gained strength. You didn't fall behind. You leveled up in silence. The pain was the tuition, and the power is the degree. You've earned this mindset through everything you've endured. Don't waste it now. Don't go back to old patterns that no longer fit who you are. You've come too far to shrink again. So stand tall. Even when your legs shake, stand tall. Even when doubt claws at your mind, hold your ground. You owe it to the version of yourself that refused to quit when it would have been easier to collapse. You owe it to the fire that's carried you here, to the hunger that still burns quietly behind your ribs. This is your moment, the one where everything shifts from belief to embodiment. You're no longer learning strength, you are strength. You're no longer chasing power, you've become it. The world may not understand it yet, but it will. Because when an unbreakable mind decides to rise, nothing, no failure, no fear, no force can stop it. The storm that once tried to drown you now moves at your command. And this time, you're not surviving it. You are the storm itself. You are the storm now. But even storms face resistance. The world will not hand you peace just because you've earned your strength. It will test it, push it, stretch it to the edge. That's how it confirms that you're ready. The higher you climb, the thinner the air becomes. Fewer people understand you. Fewer can walk beside you. That's the cost of rising. You begin to outgrow everything that once felt like home. The conversations, the distractions, the habits, even the people. It's not arrogance, it's evolution. You can't stay in the same room as your old self and expect to become someone new. Growth demands distance. Distance from noise. Distance from doubt. Distance from anything that doesn't feed your fire. There's a silence that comes with that, and it can feel lonely at first. But that silence is sacred. It's where clarity is born. It's where your next level is shaped. You're not meant to fill that silence with fear. You're meant to fill it with purpose. Every great transformation requires isolation before impact. The world may forget you while you're building, but that's exactly how you rise. The darkness is not your enemy, it's your forge. What's built in private always echoes in public. The ones who mock your silence will one day choke on your results. But you must stay ruthless with yourself. Discipline isn't punishment, it's love in its highest form. The kind of love that refuses to let you settle for less than what you're capable of. The kind that doesn't care how tired you are, how tempted you feel, or how easy it would be to quit. Discipline is self-respect made visible. Every time you follow through on your word, you strengthen the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. Every time you break that promise, you widen the gap. And that's why most people never make it. They betray themselves in small moments until they forget what commitment feels like. But not you. You're done playing small with your potential. You're done mistaking comfort for peace. The world won't remember what you said you would do. It remembers what you refused to quit on. Every legacy is written in persistence. Every victory is born from obsession. You can't just want it, you must need it, you must breathe it. You must wake up every morning knowing that if you don't move, nothing moves. Because nothing changes until you do. The universe doesn't reward intention, it rewards intensity. The energy you give is the energy you get. When you start showing up like your dreams are non-negotiable, the world adjusts to match your certainty. And yes, there will be moments when it feels like nothing's working, when the progress is invisible, when doubt claws at your chest and tells you that maybe this was all for nothing. That's the breaking point most never survive. But if you can hold steady in that silence, if you can keep walking when the results haven't arrived yet, you'll find something no one can teach you. Faith in motion. The faith that doesn't wait for proof. The faith that acts as if it's already done. That's what separates those who talk about greatness from those who live it. You are not here to live on autopilot. You are here to create impact, to build something that outlives you, to become someone who changes the atmosphere just by showing up. That's not fantasy. That's potential, waiting to be claimed. The moment you stop letting fear dictate your pace, everything aligns. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop waiting for permission and start moving with authority, because you finally understand that nothing outside you can define what's already burning within. So look around at your life right now. Every excuse, every distraction, every limit, it's not a wall, it's a mirror. It reflects the strength you haven't claimed yet. You already have what it takes. You've always had it. The world tried to convince you otherwise, but the truth is louder now. You've been through too much to back down, too far to turn around, too strong to stay silent. This is your time. Not someday, not when it feels right. Now. You've already become the storm. It's time the world feels your rain. The rain falls, but this time it doesn't drown you. It fuels you. Every drop is a reminder of everything you've endured and everything you still have left to build. You've crossed through fire, through silence, through doubt, and you're still standing. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's proof. Proof that something inside you refuses to die, no matter how hard the world tries to break it. And now that you've seen what you're capable of, there's no going back. The old version of you doesn't exist anymore. You buried them the moment you chose to rise. What's left is sharper, stronger, hungrier, and completely unstoppable. But the world won't clap for you yet. It will test your conviction again and again. It will send distractions, dressed as opportunities, comfort disguised as peace. It will try to tempt you back into mediocrity, to make you forget what you're building for. That's when you'll feel the real battle begin, not between you and the world, but between you and your old patterns. The ones that whisper, "It's fine, you've done enough." That's the voice you must silence, because enough is where most people die. Not physically, but mentally. They stop pushing, stop growing, stop reaching. And once you stop reaching, you stop living. You are not made to exist halfway. You are made to burn completely. Every day is a test of allegiance to your goals or your excuses. There's no middle ground. You can't claim you want greatness while keeping the habits that kill it. You can't talk about freedom while staying loyal to your limitations. You must pick a side, and you must pick it daily, because the mind resets every morning. It doesn't care what you did yesterday. It only cares about what you're doing now. And if you don't control it, it will control you. That's why discipline matters. That's why routine matters. Not because they're easy, but because they're anchors in the chaos. The world belongs to those who keep showing up when it no longer feels exciting. There's a moment when it all starts to click, when the pain of staying the same becomes heavier than the pain of change. When you look around and realize that nothing external will ever fill what's missing internally. That moment is sacred. It's the doorway to transformation. And once you step through it, you can never go back to pretending you don't know your worth. You start to crave challenge. You start to chase the edge. You begin to understand that your limits were never real. They were simply untested. And now that you're testing them, they crumble. The people who once doubted you will start to notice the difference, not because you tell them, but because you radiate it. You'll walk differently, speak differently, move differently. Not with arrogance, but with certainty, because you'll know exactly who you are and what you're capable of. You'll stop asking for permission to exist fully. You'll stop explaining your fire to those still afraid of their own. You'll realize you don't need validation. You've already been validated by survival. Every scar, every setback, every loss, it all certified you. You are the proof that resilience is real. And the truth is, this version of you, the one who keeps going when no one's watching, the one who chooses growth over comfort, the one who shows up even when exhausted, this version is rare. Most people never meet their true selves because they stop too early. You didn't. That's what separates you. You were willing to endure the breaking to find the becoming. And that choice has made you dangerous. Because once a person learns how to conquer their mind, nothing external can ever control them again. Now you stand at the edge of everything you've been preparing for. You can feel it, the pull, the energy, the momentum. The world won't wait, and neither should you. This is your moment to go all in, to stop thinking small, to stop dimming yourself for people who refuse to shine, to build, to move, to create, to become. You've been sharpened for this. You've been trained by every trial, sculpted by every storm. You don't need another sign, another reason, another push. This is it. The storm isn't behind you. It's beneath you. You are no longer surviving it. You're steering it. The world doesn't know it yet, but it's already yours. You've walked through darkness that most people would have collapsed in. You've tasted failure so bitter, it nearly rewired your soul. And yet, here you are, breathing, watching, listening, waiting for that moment when everything inside you finally ignites. That moment is not coming from the outside. It's not in a quote, not in a book, not in someone else's story. It's in you. It's been waiting for you to stop doubting your own power. Because the truth is, life has never been about what you've lost. It's about what you're still willing to fight for. You don't need to be fearless. You need to move while afraid. You need to act while uncertain. The difference between the weak and the unbreakable isn't that one feels fear and the other doesn't. It's that the strong move anyway. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They create it. They don't ask life to go easy on them. They demand strength from themselves. Every great thing ever built came from someone who refused to let fear dictate the outcome. And you are that person now. Every time you move forward, despite doubt, you rewrite who you are. You turn fear into fuel. You turn hesitation into hunger. People will misunderstand your growth. They'll say you've changed, and you have. You're supposed to. Growth requires destruction. It demands the death of who you were so you can become who you were meant to be. Most people cling to their old identity because it feels safe. But safety is a cage built by fear. And you can't fly inside a cage. You break it by choosing pain over comfort, clarity over confusion, and discipline over distraction. That's how an unbreakable mindset is forged, not in comfort but in chaos. The moment you stop running from your struggles and start facing them head on, everything shifts. You begin to see that every setback was never punishment, it was preparation. Life wasn't trying to break you, it was sculpting you. Each rejection hardened your resolve. Each failure sharpened your instincts. Every storm stripped away what wasn't meant for you, leaving behind only what was. And now, what remains is raw, real, and ready. You, the most dangerous version of you. The one who doesn't need approval, doesn't seek pity, and doesn't beg for peace. You make your own peace. You build your own victory. The world will always throw noise at you, opinions, doubts, distractions. It will try to drown out your purpose. But your job isn't to quiet the world. It's to make your inner voice louder, to train your mind to obey your vision, not your emotions. Because emotions will lie to you. They'll tell you to stop, to rest, to give in, but your vision, that never lies. It shows you what's possible, even when the world says it's not. So you must choose your focus carefully. Feed your mind power, not poison. Feed it purpose, not excuses. There's a fire waiting inside you, and it doesn't need permission to burn. It only needs direction. Every second you spend doubting yourself is a second you could have been building. Every day you waste on fear is a day stolen from your future. You cannot afford to keep living on pause. Because time doesn't care about hesitation. It keeps moving, with or without you. And one day, you'll look back and realize that all those moments of doubt were never real barriers. They were illusions built by your comfort zone. And the second you decided to step through them, you became free. So now, the choice stands before you, clearer than ever. You can go back to what's easy, predictable, and safe, or you can walk into the unknown and take everything that's yours. The pain won't stop you anymore. It will drive you. The fear won't paralyze you. It will guide you. Because now you understand life doesn't give you power. You take it. You claim it. You build it from the ashes of every moment you almost gave up. And when you do, the world will notice. Not because you asked it to, but because your energy will speak louder than words. This is not motivation. This is awakening. You're not waiting for the right time. You are the right time. Every breath you take from this moment forward is proof that you were built for more. And when the noise fades, when the fear returns, when the world tests you again, you'll smile. Because now, you know, nothing out there can break what's already been reborn inside you. You are the storm. And it's your turn to move. You've come too far to go back now. The version of you that once begged for motivation has been replaced by the one who creates it. The one who no longer asks, "Can I do this?" but instead says, "Try and stop me." That's what happens when pain turns into power, when doubt turns into discipline. You no longer live in reaction to your circumstances, you bend them. You control the tone, the pace, the outcome. Because when the mind becomes unshakable, everything else falls in line. The world stops feeling impossible and starts feeling inevitable. But make no mistake, this mindset doesn't come from comfort. It's built in silence when no one's watching. It's born in the moments you wanted to quit but didn't, in the nights you couldn't see the end but kept moving anyway. That's where your strength is forged. In the unseen, in the uncelebrated, in the unspoken grind that no one else will ever understand. Because strength isn't loud. It's not the roar. It's the whisper that says, "Keep going." And that whisper becomes your anthem when the noise fades. People will look at you and see the calm. They won't see the storms you fought to get there. They'll see your control, but not the chaos that shaped it. That's fine. They're not supposed to. Because your story isn't for everyone. It's for the ones who feel the same fire burning inside them, but haven't yet found the courage to unleash it. You're not just surviving for yourself anymore. You're showing others what's possible when you stop negotiating with your limitations. You're proving that broken doesn't mean beaten. It means reborn. And that's what power really is, not dominance over others, but mastery over self. The ability to stay calm in chaos, to see pain and still move forward, to feel fear and still take action. When you reach that level, life stops being something that happens to you. It becomes something you shape. Every obstacle turns into an opportunity to sharpen your edge. Every failure becomes fuel. You stop waiting for the world to give you direction. You become the direction. That's the mindset that builds legacies. Because truthfully, nothing is stronger than a person who has nothing left to lose but everything left to prove. You become dangerous when you stop chasing validation and start chasing purpose. Dangerous when you no longer care about applause, only impact. The world fears that kind of focus because it can't control it. Society wants you distracted, entertained, and complacent. But once you see through it, once you take control of your thoughts, you become unstoppable. You realize that everything around you begins and ends in your mind. What you feed it, it becomes. What you believe, it creates. So guard your thoughts like your life depends on it, because it does. Every negative belief you entertain is a seed, and if you water it, it will grow roots. It will pull you back into old patterns, into fear, into comfort. But every powerful thought is also a seed. Feed it, and it will build something unbreakable inside you. Your future depends on which one you choose to nurture. The mind is a battlefield, and you are both the warrior and the weapon. You win not by avoiding the fight, but by learning to use your thoughts as tools, not traps. When your focus becomes laser sharp, time bends around you, progress accelerates, doors open that you didn't even know existed. You stop comparing, stop hesitating, stop waiting. You start creating momentum that cannot be faked or forced. And that's when life begins to shift in ways that others will call luck. But you'll know better. You'll know it was built on the days you showed up when no one cared. You'll know it came from the war you won inside your own head. So stand tall, breathe deep. Look at how far you've come. You've battled storms meant to destroy you, and yet you're still here, stronger, wiser, hungrier. That's not coincidence. That's purpose. And purpose doesn't die. It only grows stronger with every challenge, every scar, every victory. This is not the end of your journey. It's the ignition point. The moment you stop running from your power and start owning it completely, because you've already proven you can survive. Now it's time to dominate. The unbreakable mindset isn't something you find. It's something you become. And you've already begun. The moment you realize your thoughts shape your reality, everything changes. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop pointing fingers. You see that every excuse, every hesitation, every fear was just a reflection of the war inside your mind. The world was never against you. It was simply mirroring what you believed about yourself. And the moment you shift that belief, the world shifts with it. That's the law. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. If you carry chaos inside, chaos finds you. But when your mind is anchored in strength, peace, and purpose, the world bends to that energy. You stop chasing, and things start moving toward you. This is where true power begins, not in control over others, but in control over self. When your emotions no longer own you, when your fears no longer silence you, when your past no longer defines you, that's freedom. That's the unbreakable mindset. You no longer react to life, you create it. Every challenge becomes a signal to rise. Every setback becomes a trigger for growth. You stop seeing failure as loss and start seeing it as leverage. Because each fall teaches you something that comfort never could. And when you understand that, nothing can defeat you. But it's not easy. The mind fights back. It wants to keep you safe, predictable, contained. It whispers lies dressed as logic. It tells you that you can't, that you shouldn't, that you'll fail again. That voice is not truth, it's protection. But protection isn't progress. Comfort zones don't build warriors. They build prisoners. Every time you obey that voice, you shrink. Every time you defy it, you expand. So you must learn to sit in the fire and breathe through the fear. Because on the other side of discomfort is power. The kind of power that doesn't fade, doesn't depend on motivation, doesn't need permission. It's built from within, from repetition, from resistance. You can feel it when it starts to grow. The shift in your energy, the clarity in your thoughts, the quiet confidence that says, I've got this. That's not arrogance, that's awareness. That's knowing who you are after everything tried to make you forget. And once you reach that level, your focus becomes dangerous. Distractions lose their pull. Opinions lose their weight. You stop wasting energy trying to be understood by people who haven't faced your battles. You understand now that their approval has no power here. The only approval that matters is your own, the one that comes when you look in the mirror and see someone who refused to stay small. You become a force, a calm, deliberate, unshakable force. You stop chasing validation and start demanding results. You stop waiting for motivation and start moving through discipline. You stop trying to avoid pain and start using it. Because pain, when harnessed, becomes a weapon. It cuts through fear. It silences doubt. It forges resilience that comfort never could. Every great transformation is built on the decision to keep walking when it would have been easier to stop. That's what separates the powerful from the passive, the strong from the spectators, the ones who lead from the ones who follow. And this is the moment where you choose who you are. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Every second you hesitate, the old version of you tries to pull you back. It wants you to believe that comfort is peace, but peace without purpose is poison. It dulls your fire, numbs your hunger, erases your edge. You were not made for a half-lived life. You were built to create impact, to make noise, to move mountains. But to do that, you must take control of the one thing that determines it all, your mind. Because once your mind bows to your will, the world follows. This isn't about hype. It's about awakening. You've spent too long surviving. It's time to build. Time to rise. Time to embody everything you were too afraid to claim. The unbreakable mindset isn't a gift. It's a choice. It's built in the small decisions no one sees, the silent battles no one praises, the lonely nights that forge unshakable strength. And you're in that forge right now. You can feel it. The burning, the breaking, the becoming. This is where the weak give up and the great are born. So stand taller, think sharper, move faster. This is your moment, your evolution, your law of power, the one that kills every negative thought and replaces it with something unstoppable. You. The greatest prison has no walls. It's built inside your mind. It's built from every doubt you ever believed, every failure you never forgave yourself for, every voice that told you you're not enough. You've carried those chains so long they started to feel normal. But deep down, something inside you has always known the truth. You were never broken, just buried under expectations, opinions, fear, and noise. And now, piece by piece, you're digging yourself out. You're not chasing freedom anymore. You're creating it. There comes a moment when you stop waiting for permission to become who you are, when you realize no one is coming to save you. That moment is terrifying, but it's also sacred, because that's the moment you finally take ownership. You stop being the victim of your story and start being the author. You stop explaining your pain and start transforming it into power. The world taught you to shrink, to doubt, to second-guess your fire. But life doesn't reward those who hide. It rewards those who dare. And you're daring now. You're stepping into a version of yourself that doesn't apologize for wanting more. Because wanting more doesn't make you greedy. It makes you alive. You're not here to blend in. You're here to build, to rise, to leave a mark. That hunger you feel isn't an accident. It's your soul demanding progress. It's the proof that you were made for expansion, not comfort. You've been tested because you're meant to lead. You've been delayed because you're meant to last. Nothing real breaks under pressure. It sharpens. And every time life squeezed you, you didn't collapse. You adapted. You endured. You evolved. That's what strength looks like. Quiet, relentless, unapologetic. But the truth is, your next level demands a new you. You can't carry your old fears into a future built on courage. You can't keep thinking small while asking for big results. You can't keep running from pain when pain is the very tool that will refine you. The life you want won't meet you halfway. It waits on the other side of your excuses. So you have to decide what you're more committed to, your limitations or your legacy. Both can't live in the same space. One must die for the other to grow. Your mind will try to fight you. It will try to drag you back into the comfort of good enough. It will whisper that you can rest, that you've done plenty, that maybe your dreams are too far. But that's the same voice that kept generations before you from becoming more. You were not made to inherit their fears. You were made to break them. You are the interruption to every cycle of doubt that ever tried to define your bloodline. You are the proof that the story doesn't end where pain began. So you rise, not with noise, but with focus. You rise by showing up again and again, even when no one's watching. You rise by becoming so grounded in your purpose that no storm can move you. The world won't always clap. It won't always understand. But it will feel your energy. It will feel your presence, because people who master their minds shift the energy of every room they enter. They move with certainty. They act without hesitation. They don't wait for opportunity. They create it. And now, this is where everything changes. This is where you stop being the observer of your potential and start becoming it. You've carried enough doubt. You've wasted enough time waiting for the right conditions. There are no right conditions, only right decisions. And you're one decision away from a completely different life. One decision away from peace, from purpose, from power. Every second you hesitate is a second lost to fear. But every second you act is a step closer to freedom. You know this now. You've always had the power. It wasn't missing. It was dormant, waiting for you to remember who you are. You don't need more time, more luck, more approval. You need alignment. You need focus. You need to trust that the same fire that got you this far will carry you the rest of the way, because it will. It always has. You've already walked through worse than what's ahead. And now you walk with clarity, with conviction, with control. You've killed the noise. You've killed the doubt. And what's left is unshakable. Your unbreakable mind. You've learned to stand in the storm, but now it's time to command it. Because strength isn't proven in what you survive. It's proven in what you control. And you, right now, are standing at the edge of everything you were meant to become. You can feel it, the pull between who you were and who you're becoming. The old you still whispers, trying to hold on, but its voice is fading. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, Every time you choose purpose over pleasure, that voice dies a little more. You're rewriting your identity with every choice you make. And that's how transformation happens. Not in one grand moment, but in the quiet war between your potential and your past. The mind is a battlefield, and the enemy isn't failure, it's comfort. Comfort disguises itself as peace. It tells you you've done enough. It convinces you to settle for almost. But almost kills dreams more than defeat ever will. Because defeat teaches you. Comfort keeps you blind. It lulls you into stillness until one day you wake up realizing you've stopped growing. That's the slow death most people choose without realizing it. But not you. You've seen what complacency costs. You felt the pain of untapped potential, the ache of knowing you were built for more. And once you've felt that, there's no going back. There's a part of you that knows mediocrity isn't safety. It's suffocation. It's where dreams go to die. You're done pretending that small goals will ever satisfy a big spirit. You're done dimming yourself just to fit into places that never had room for your fire, because your power was never meant to blend in. It was meant to stand out, to disrupt, to awaken something in others just by existing fully. The world doesn't need more quiet talent. It needs loud purpose. It needs people who refuse to settle for average. And that's who you're becoming. Every day you're learning to choose pain over paralysis, to move even when it hurts, to keep going when nothing makes sense. That's what separates those who dream from those who do. Discipline, the ability to take one more step, even when your mind screams to stop. That's how you build unbreakable mental armor, by refusing to let weakness make your choices. Because weakness will whisper. It will tell you that you can't, that it's too late, that maybe this isn't meant for you, but deep down, you know better. You know that voice isn't truth. It's fear wearing logic's mask, and fear only controls what you refuse to face. The moment you look it in the eye, it loses power. That's the secret. The strong understand courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the mastery of it. It's learning to move forward even while afraid. It's standing tall when everything inside you wants to collapse. Every time you do that, you win a battle no one else can see. And those invisible victories, the ones earned in silence, become the foundation of the life you're building. The world will try to shake you. It will try to make you question your worth, your path, your purpose. But once your mind is fortified, nothing external can penetrate it. You stop reacting to negativity. You stop absorbing chaos. You start creating calm. That's power, not control over others, but over self. When you reach that state, your energy changes everything around you. People feel it. Opportunities align with it. Life begins to mirror the strength you've built inside. And now you understand, this journey was never about becoming someone else. It was about remembering who you've always been. You were never weak. You were never lost. You were simply distracted. The world told you to doubt yourself, to play small, to conform, but your soul never agreed. It's been waiting for this moment. The moment you take full command of your mind, your emotions, your destiny. So stand tall and breathe. You've earned this clarity. You've fought for this fire. Don't you dare dim it now.